Right on, right on. Here we go. So this is lesson 2B, the story behind the photo. So there's a question, what was happening? And I'm going to show you what is written there. People were waiting for the results. All right. So in this picture, in this photograph, people seem to be looking at something, waiting for the results. What type of results are they waiting for? What is it that they're looking at? So this picture tells a story. If you look at the picture, there is a context in which it was taken. So this is what we're going to analyze. Now, this is a reading text. What we have to do here, we have to look at a photo that news photographer Tom Pilston took in 2008. What do you think is happening? So what do you think is going on in this picture? What are they looking at? We're going to read Tom's description of what happened on the night of he took the photo. Were you right? So I'm going to read the text to you. And this never works. Here we go. Let me make this a little bigger. There we go. On November 4th, I arrived in Chicago late in the evening. I wanted to photograph Barack Obama and his family in the convention center. But when I got there, I discovered that I didn't have my press pass and I couldn't go inside. I walked around the park outside the center. Although it was November, it was a warm night. The atmosphere was wonderful. When I took this photo, everybody was looking at the TV screens waiting for the election results. Some people were quietly holding hands and smiling. Others were tense and nervous. They felt that it was their moment. Suddenly, I realized that this was a better place to be than inside. I was watching Obama's victory through the faces of all these people: African, Hispanic, Chinese, white. At about 11 o'clock, the results were announced and everybody went crazy. People started laughing, shouting, and crying. But when Obama made his speech, they all became quiet and emotional. There was only one place to be on the planet that night, and I was there. So what happened here in this story? This man was supposed to participate in an evening with Barack Obama. So he wanted to take a picture of the candidate for presidency. But the problem is he forgot, look, his press pass. So he works for the press. He's a reporter. He works for television or for a newspaper or a magazine or something. He has a press pass. That is a card that allows him to enter the place. And, oh, where's my press pass? So he couldn't go inside. He couldn't enter the place. And he stood outside. And while he was outside, he was with the people who were watching the results of the elections through the screens. And it turned out to be the best place for him to stay, because he could take a picture of the different nationalities and races and people seeing the results and seeing their reaction. Okay, so this is a moment in history. All right, November 4th. So we have some questions about this text. Read it again and answer the question. So now you have to pay attention to the questions and try to find the answers there, all right? So let's take a look. Why did Tom Pilston go to Chicago? When you have a question with why, you answer with because. Why did Tom Pilston go to Chicago? Look, this is the answer. Because he wanted to photograph Barack Obama. He's a reporter, and because he wanted to photograph Barack Obama. Why couldn't he take a photograph of Obama? Why couldn't he take a photograph? To take a photograph, to take a picture, why couldn't he? He couldn't take a photograph of Obama because he didn't have, sorry, this doesn't work. When I touch it, it goes away. Let me make this a little bit smaller for you to see. Not so small. Because he didn't have his press pass. He didn't have his press pass. That's why he couldn't take a photograph of Obama. He couldn't enter the convention center, right? What was the weather like? What was the weather like? It was a warm night. A warm night is between cold and hot. It's like Katy Perry, right? Hot and cold, and it's warm. It's in the middle. So it was a warm night in November. Where did he take this photo? Where did he take the photo? When I took this photo, everybody was looking at the blah, blah, waiting for the election. Some people, they felt that it was the moment. The park. I walked around the park outside the center. So where did he take the photo? In the park outside the center. That's where he took the photo, right? Where could the people see the election results? They were looking at the screens, TV screens. Was he sorry that he couldn't go inside the center? Was he sorry? Oh, no, I couldn't go inside. So, now I missed it. Was he sorry? He said, there was only one place to be on that planet, on the planet that night, and I was there. So he wasn't sorry. He was glad. He was happy to be there. What happened when Obama won? Everybody started laughing and crying and shouting. Yeah. So that's what happened. Why do you think the photographer thought his photo was better than a photo of Obama himself? Do you agree? Now you can come up with an answer. So this picture is a moment in history. This picture tells more about the elections than a picture of the president, because everybody was waiting for the results. It was right before the moment it was announced. So it is a historical picture, historical photo. Yeah, I agree. But anyway, now we have some grammar points here. The past continuous. So this is what we're going to use. So you have some highlighted verbs in an extract from the text. Look, do they describe actions that happened after he took the photo or at the same time as he took the photo? Two important things to remember. After or at the same time. Now, when I took this photo, everybody was looking at the TV screens. So meanwhile, at the same time I was taking the picture, people were looking at the screen. So these two things are happening simultaneously at the same time. They are happening at the same time. So the past continuous means two things are going on, are happening together, right? So people were waiting for the election results. Some people were quietly holding hands and smiling. Others were tense and nervous. Some people were quietly holding hands. So they were holding hands together and smiling. So at the same time, he was taking a picture. So this is how you use the past continuous, right? At least two situations you can use. For example, when you tell a story, what happened to you today when you were having lunch? When I was having lunch today, my friend called me. Two things at the same time. You were having lunch and your friend called you. When I was watching TV this morning, I heard a car going by the street. The car passed by the street. You know, a car went by the street. So you were watching television and you heard the noise of the car. Two things at the same time. But it was happening. This is the past continuous. The continuous is because you use ing form, right? Smiling, holding, looking. This is how you use it, right? Now, look at this. Listen to the sounds and make a sentence using the past continuous and the simple past. Let's see. Let's listen to the sound.
1.41. 1.
Now, the first sentence is done for you, right? They were playing tennis when it started to rain. Let's listen to it again. Two things at the same time. Listen.
1.41. 1.
Okay, now let's listen to the second thing. One thing will be happening while another will be happening together.
2.
There was the noise of a car. Yeah, maybe the person was driving the car and then the phone rang. You'll always use the second verb in the past. So maybe, I was driving when the phone rang or something like that. Yeah, we're going to check it out later. But two things going on, driving and the telephone, okay?
3.
This is the police.
Ay. What happened there? There's a sound of people having fun at a party, perhaps. There's a party, and then there's a knock on the door. The police. How can you make a sentence with this? The party and the police, or the knock on the door. Think about it. Now, the fourth.
4.
Yeah, this is easier, isn't it? There is the sound of water coming out of the shower. Maybe you're taking a shower, yeah? And then a knock on the door again. How can you make a sentence using taking a shower and knock on the door?
5.
You first listen to the sound of man sleeping. He's snorting, he's making sound with his nose, he's sleeping, and then the baby wakes up. The baby starts to cry. All right. Next.
6.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
The sound of people walking on the streets or on the sidewalk. Ta, ta, ta. And then, hello. Maybe the person sees someone else and starts talking to the person. So how would you make a sentence using these two things going on at the same time? This is how you can do it, right? The first one, they were playing tennis when it started to rain. Second, she was driving, she or he, whatever. She was driving when somebody called her. They were having a party when the police came. Look, the second verb is always in the past simple. And the first one is this, the past continuous, which is to be in the past, and the other verb with ing, right? He was taking a shower when somebody knocked on the door. They were sleeping when the baby started crying, or started to cry. Started crying is better. And she was walking her dog when she met a friend. Walking her dog? She was just walking, right? Okay, she was walking her dog when she met a friend. She saw a friend and started talking. Okay, this is one of the possibilities of completion for the exercise. Okay, now in this other part here, you have to learn how to use the preposition. Oops, the answer is no. You have to take a look at the sentences here, 4 sentences, and you have to use either at, in, or on. Which one would you use? Which preposition do you use before a date? For example, November the 4th. You say at November, in November, or on November the 4th. So here's the secret. Whenever you have a month and a day, you have to use on. If you only have the month, you use in. Second, a time at 11 o'clock, the morning, the afternoon, in the afternoon, a room or building. You are in a room or at a room. You are in a room or in a building, in the convention center. So this is how you use it. Okay. Now, another one. A month, just the month, no day, just a month. That's right, in January. The weekend, on the weekend, in the weekend, at the weekend, home, work, or school. This is how you use it, right? In January, in February, in March, in April, in June, July, right? On the weekend and at home, at work, at school. Yeah. Somebody calls you and say, where are you? I'm at school. I'm home. I'm at home. I'm at work. Yeah. When are you coming to visit me? I'm coming to visit you on the weekend. Or next March, in March. This is how you can use prepositions with these words. All right, here we go. Now, to finish the lesson, we're going to go to this next page, page 15, I guess. We have a little bit of pronunciation, sentence stress. Let's listen to it and repeat the dialogue. So I want you to listen and repeat wherever you are.
1.43.
Let's go.
Where were you at 6 o'clock in the evening?
I was at work.
What were you doing?
I was having a meeting with the boss.
Okay, I'm going to play it again for you to repeat.
1.43.
Where were you at 6 o'clock in the evening?
Where were you at 6 o'clock in the evening? Where were you at 6 o'clock in the evening?
I was at work.
I was at work. I was at work.
What were you doing?
What were you doing?
I was having a meeting with the boss.
I was having a meeting with the boss. Now, I want you to listen to it again, the whole conversation, and get the levels of pronunciation there.
1.43.
Where were you at 6 o'clock in the evening?
I was at work.
What were you doing?
I was having a meeting with the boss.
Okay, now keep practicing until you know how to say all the sentences, okay? Impairs take turns. Now this is for us to do in the classroom, but at any rate, questions about yesterday. Where were you at 6:30 in the morning? This is nice for a detective story. Yeah, you try to interrogate your classmate or somebody. Where were you yesterday at 11 a.m.? I was at work. Then you create a little story to question your friend, right? But since you don't have a friend to talk to, I want you to tell me what you did yesterday at these hours. What did you do yesterday from 6:30 a.m. until midnight? Tell me specific times of your day. What did you do yesterday at 6:30 in the morning? At 11 in the morning, at lunchtime, at 4 p.m., at 6 p.m., at 10 p.m., and finally at midnight. What were you doing? Who was with you? Where did you go? What did you eat, etc.? Okay, this is a little practice for conversation. Now, speaking and writing, I want you to repeat these questions with me. Repeat the question. Do you have a photo you really like? Just repeat the questions. Who took it? What was happening at the time? Okay, just listen to the questions and repeat them. Second, do you upload photos to Facebook or other internet sites? What was the last photo you uploaded? Okay, this is just, you don't have to answer, just repeat the questions. Do you have a photo as the screensaver on your computer or phone? What is it of? Or what is it about? Number 4, do you have a favorite photo of yourself as a child? Who took it? What was happening when they took it? What were you wearing? 5, do you have any photos in your bedroom or living room? What are they of? 6, do you know any other famous historical photos? Who or what are they of? Again, who or what are they of? Okay, now you can try to answer these questions if you want to. And then you need to take a picture of yourself and describe it, right? But this is another picture that is a historical moment. Look, what can you see here? There is a woman with a kind of flag in her hand, and she's sitting on somebody's shoulders. And the title of the text is "The Image That Cost a Fortune." Why did this image cost a fortune? Did it cost a fortune to her or someone else? Let's take a look. Caroline de Benden was born in 1940. She was the granddaughter of Count Maurice de Benden, a rich aristocrat who owned a lot of property in Paris and Monaco. Although he had other grandchildren, the Count decided to leave all his money to Caroline. I never knew why, says Caroline. No, she said, I never knew why, says Caroline. Perhaps because I was pretty. He paid for her to go to very expensive schools in England, and he hoped that she would marry well, perhaps a member of a European royal family. But Caroline was a rebel. She went to New York and worked there for a short time as a model. Then in 1968, when she was 28 years old, she returned to Paris. What's going on here? So who is this woman in the picture? Her name is Caroline de Benden. Who is she? She is the granddaughter of Count Maurice, the granddaughter. So her grandfather is a very famous and rich man. He's a count. He's an aristocrat. There are the dukes, the kings, the queens, the counts. He's a count, right? And he always wanted to help Caroline study and marry well. He wanted Caroline to marry a member of the royal family, but Caroline didn't want to marry a member of the royal family. Did she want to marry a member of the royal family? No, she didn't. Why not? Why didn't she want to marry a member of the royal family? Caroline didn't want to marry a member of the royal family because she was a rebel. And as a rebel, she went to New York and stood there and worked there for a short time as a model. She was working as a model in New York City. In 1968, when she was 28 years old, she came back to Paris. Now, let's see what happened to Caroline in 1968. Let's see if that's the story. Now, we have to listen to it, of course. Look at a famous photo that was on the cover of many magazines around the world in the 1960s. Where do you think the people are? What do you think is happening? So I don't know, what place is this? Is it in France? In Italy? In the United States? What flag is there? Is it a French flag? An Italian flag? What kind of flag is there? I mean, is that one? Now, let's listen to it and find out. If only I could make this work. Here we go again. Listen to the woman in the photo talking about it. Were you right? Okay, now let's listen to Caroline. She's still alive and talking to us.
1.44. En mai 1968, je suis rentrée à Paris. In May 1968, I came back to Paris. It was a very exciting time. There were a lot of demonstrations and fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist or an anarchist. But I loved the atmosphere. All the students were fighting for freedom, for revolution, and the French police were everywhere. On May the 15th, I was with thousands of other young people. We were walking toward the Place de la Bastille. I was tired, so a friend picked me up and I sat on his shoulders. Another boy, who was walking next to us, was carrying a Vietnamese flag. It was the time of the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay." There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day, the photo was on the cover of magazines all over the world. When my grandfather saw it, he immediately ordered me to come to his house. He was furious. Really, really angry. He said, "That's it. You are a communist. I'm not going to leave you anything, not a penny." I walked out of the room, and I never saw him again. 6 months later, he died, and I didn't get any money from him. Nothing.
Because of a picture, she lost all her fortune. Oh, man. Her grandfather thought she was, I don't know, a communist, an anarchist. Now you have to listen to it again and complete this exercise here. Look, choose A, B, or C. Okay. A little smaller. Not so small. Yeah, maybe this one. Okay, number one. In 1968, she wasn't interested in politics, or she was a communist, or she was a non-anarchist. Now you have to listen to it again and try to complete this exercise. Now, let's watch
1.44.
the open script.
En mai 1968, je suis rentrée à Paris. In May 1968, I came back to Paris. It was a very exciting time. There were a lot of demonstrations and fighting between students and the police. I wasn't really interested in politics. I wasn't a communist or an anarchist, but I loved the atmosphere. All the students were fighting for freedom, for revolution, and the French police were everywhere. On May the 15th, I was with thousands of other young people. We were walking toward the Place de la Bastille. I was tired, so a friend picked me up and I sat on his shoulders. Another boy, who was walking next to us, was carrying a Vietnamese flag. It was the time of the Vietnam War. And he said to me, "Hey, could you carry the flag for me?" And I said, "Okay." There was so much happening that I didn't notice all the photographers. The next day, the photo was on the cover of magazines all over the world. When my grandfather saw it, he immediately ordered me to come to his house. He was furious, really, really angry. He said, "That's it. You are a communist. I'm not going to leave you anything, not a penny." I walked out of the room, and I never saw him again. 6 months later, he died, and I didn't get any money from him. Nothing.
Ay. Okay, that was a very sad story. She lost all her fortune because of misunderstanding. She didn't even have the chance to explain to her grandfather what she was doing with that flag. Do you think she's sorry that she was in that photo? I don't know. Caroline de Bendern. I don't know. Is she still alive? Maybe she is. Let's take a look if she's still alive. Caroline de Bendern. Let me see. She's 81 years old. Interview. There's an interview with her from 2017. It's the photo that was taken on May 13th, 1968, when I was demonstrating Paris with some friends, mainly friends from the movie, underground movie. And I had been walking for hours, and I found myself next to Jean-Jacques Debelle, and he had this flag, and he wanted someone to hold it. And I thought, well, actually, my feet were aching, and it would be nice to have a... What happened? Okay, so here she tells the whole story of what happened that day, right? To have a ride, and so I got up on his shoulders and I saw it was the Vietnamese flag. So she was tired, and she climbed over her friend's shoulders, and she just held the flag and she paid for it. Okay, that's it. That is the exercise for now. Now, I want you to go to your book and continue with the studies. That's it for now. Thank you.